Hi. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 reasons good men feel boring and why you keep passing them up. Now, ladies, at some point there was a man you passed on. He was kind. He was available. He told you how he felt without making you guess. And you felt nothing, right? You probably told yourself that there was just no chemistry, right? No spark. But I want to tell you what was actually happening. And I'm going to start with my heater. Now, I have done a lot to my house. I hand-painted the entire inside of it myself with a roller. I planted 20 trees in the front yard. I put in new grass. Got a hot tub in the back and actually a sauna, an actual sauna in my garage. Now, most of that happened while I was what I'll call my single guy era living loca. No wife, no one to answer to, no one around to ask, do we need a sauna? And listen, if you told me at the time, I'd have told you I was investing in my home. But I really wasn't. I was chasing the next exciting thing that I could point at. That's what that was. Then one January, the heater went out. And I want you to know I had never once thought about that heater. Not a single time. I couldn't have told you what it looked like. I'm not even confident. I could have found it at the time, but it had been running underneath every single one of those projects, keeping me comfortable enough to care about grass and saunas. And really, it never crossed my mind. It actually took about 4 hours for the house to get cold and 20 trees didn't help. The sauna didn't help. And ladies, that's what a lot of you are doing with men. Today I'm going to be giving you 7 reasons why the good ones feel boring to you. Not why they are boring, because really most of the time they're not, but why they feel that way. Because there's a mechanism underneath this. And once you can see it, I don't think you'll ever misread a good man the same way again. I'm Matt Schaefer and I've spent the last 10 years helping women understand what's really going on inside the male mind and heart. If you're new, be sure to hit that little subscribe button. I got amazing videos dropping every single week. And before we start, I made you a present, a free 2-minute quiz that shows you exactly how the man in your life is experiencing you. The link is down in the pinned comment and up at the top of this video right now. Go grab it. And the first reason a good man feels boring is he regulates. He doesn't escalate. And here's the thing nobody tells you about how men move. Ladies, a man who's here for a season, he's going to be escalating hard and quick. It's going to be big swings, fast heat, a lot of noise, a lot of grand gestures early. Does that sound familiar? Laughter, intensity that arrives before he's really earned it, right? And there's a reason for that. He needs the intensity to hold your attention because he knows on some level he's not staying right. While a man who's here for life for a long time, he's going to regulate. He paces himself. He doesn't spike and he's not trying to win a night, right? He's trying to still be there in January. And here's why he does that. And it's not what you think. It's not that he feels less than big Mr. Grand romantic gesture, right? It's that he's playing a longer game and he knows it. He's not spending everything in a week 2 because he's planning on week 200, right? Whereas a man who's serious, he's running a marathon. And marathon runners, they might look slow to someone standing at the finish line of a 100-meter dash, but they're not. They're just playing a different game. So the takeaway, ladies, is stop reading his pace as his interest. Those are 2 completely different measurements. The question was never how hot is this or how exciting is this in this moment. It's what is this built to survive. The second reason he might seem boring is because your body learned that love comes with adrenaline. And this one's going to be a little tender, but I want you to hear it the way I mean it right. If the man who mattered to you were unpredictable in your earlier life, maybe a father who ran hot and cold or a first love who kept you guessing or an ex who made you work for every ounce of reassurance, then your nervous system learned something. It learned that love has a feeling, right? And that feeling includes a little bit of adrenaline, a little uncertainty, right? A bit of a roller coaster. So now a steady man shows up. He's consistent. He's available. He's honest about how he feels, right? But your body doesn't read that as safe. Your body reads that as nothing. And here's what I need you to hear. That is not a character flaw. That's not your bad taste. That's not you being broken or shallow or even addicted to drama. Your body built a smoke alarm in a house that was actually on fire. It did its job. It saved you. It helped you survive the dysfunction you were in. The thing is, it's still going off now in a room that isn't burning anymore. Right? You don't get rid of a smoke alarm for working. You just teach it what a healthy kitchen actually smells like. So my takeaway for you here is the next time calm or a steady man feels like nothing, don't ask, is there something wrong with him? Ask, what did my body learn to expect, and is it still telling me the truth? And the third reason you might be bored with a good guy is because nobody's performing and you've only ever been courted by performers. And now you just got to let me tell on myself for a second, because in my 20s I was an outstanding performer for the first 3 months. A genuine elite early stage boyfriend. I could do a first date that belonged in a movie. The Notebook Part 3. I had material. I had lines. I had, and I'm not proud of this, I had a playlist. I really did. And what I was doing, if I'm honest, was I was auditioning from a place of unworthiness, right? I was performing a version of a man I hadn't actually become yet. And here's the ugly part. That performance was easy, precisely because it wasn't real. I could sustain it for exactly as long as it took to get what I wanted, and honestly, not a day or even a week longer. And why this matters to your boring guy is a man who's serious about you, he's going to stop performing. And he stops on purpose. Not because he's lazy, but because he decides after those first couple dates, maybe that he'd rather be known than be impressive. Because he wants you to know who he truly is. And ladies, from the perspective of a man, you need to know that being truly known is terrifying for us. Performing is safe. Being the perfect guy, right? But dropping the performance is the single most exposed thing a man does with a woman. So when he stops doing the show, that's not the spark dying. That's the curtain coming up. So my takeaway for you here is watch for the moment he gets ordinary in front of you. Most women read it as the end of something when realistically it's the beginning, and it's the first genuinely brave thing he's probably done. And the fourth reason is certainty killed the chase, and you confuse the chase for the feeling. That's a mouthful, but I promise it's going to make sense, because here's an uncomfortable truth. A lot of what women describe as chemistry is not attraction to a man. It's actually attraction to uncertainty about a man. The not knowing, the waiting for the text, right? That little spike in your adrenaline when his name comes up. That's not him. That's your own physiology reacting to an unresolved question, an open loop, and I know is genuinely intoxicating, which is why it's so easy to mistake for love. Then a man shows up who is certain, right? He answers. He's clear. He tells you where he is and what he wants. And that question, that open loop resolves. And when it does, that spike, those butterflies, they kind of stop. So then you feel the absence of the spike and conclude the absence of feeling. But ladies, they are not the same thing. Fireworks, sure, they make you look up, and nobody's ever looked up at a heater. But the fireworks, they're going to be gone in 9 seconds. While the heater is the only reason the house is warm in February as it chugs along every day, right? So, my takeaway is to ask you honestly, do I miss him when he's not around? Or do I miss wondering about him? Because one of those is love and the other one is just an open loop. And the fifth reason you might find a good guy boring is he's building in small things and you're measuring in big ones. Now, let me tell you something my wife does that I don't think she knows she does. See, Ashley knows my schedule. Not in a managing or controlling way. She just knows. And when there's a day coming that she knows is going to be hard for me, she doesn't say anything about it. She just quietly makes that day easier. Something is going to get handled right by her that I was dreading doing, or something's waiting for me, like a little sweet note that I didn't even ask for. In fact, I have one right here, right, that she made me during my launch that just moved my heart, right? And there's not going to be any announcement about that. No, look at what I did. I usually notice an hour later or the next time I come into my office, right? That's the thing about how a serious man loves to. He's going to be building with for you in small things. He remembers the appointment. He texts at the same time. He's consistent. He notices when your voice sounds off and he asks you about it. He's not putting on a show. He's laying brick, the foundation of your relationship. And here's why it matters. A man who's planning a future with you is going to be consistently good rather than occasionally great. He's not trying to make one night unforgettable. He's trying to make 1,000 ordinary ones sweet and peaceful and nice. And here's the cruel part, right? Our memory is built from spikes. So years later, you might remember that grand gesture from the man who left, and you'll be struggling to name a single specific thing about the man who showed up every single day. But the way to counteract that, right? And my takeaway for you here is start counting the small things out loud. Say them to him. Acknowledge him for the little notes he leaves you. Right? Because the man doing them has no idea whether you've noticed unless you say it. And honestly, if you don't tell him, he's assuming you have it. And the sixth reason is he got quieter right when it started to matter. And I'm going to tell you something here about us that we don't ever say to ourselves or to you. When a man is genuinely seriously falling for you, he often gets more careful, not less. He slows down. He gets quieter. He becomes more thoughtful. Right? He thinks before he speaks in a way he didn't when it was more light and casual. And I know how that can feel and how it might be landing on your end. It lands like cooling off. It lands like he's losing interest or he's pulling back. It lands like the beginning of the end. But on our end, it is the exact opposite. We got quiet because it started to matter. Because when there's nothing at stake, a man is loose and funny and easy because he can't lose anything, right? But the moment he realizes he could actually lose you, he starts moving carefully, right? Like a man carrying something breakable. Ladies, a man being careful with you is not a man withdrawing from you. It's a man who's just realized what he's holding. And trust me, it can be nerve-wracking when you start to deeply emotionally invest in someone because you realize that they now have the power to hurt you. So my takeaway for you here is if the energy shifted right around the time things got real, don't panic and don't chase him for reassurance, right? Get warm and get steady. He's probably not backing away. He's bracing to take things to the next level. And the seventh and final reason your good guy might feel boring is that you're grading a marriage quality man with dating metrics. And this is the last one. And it's the one that ties everything together because everything that makes a man exciting to date in the early days, right? The unpredictability, the intensity, the way he keeps you slightly off balance is the exact thing that makes a man exhausting to live with long term. Think about that for a second. And everything that makes a man feel boring to date, right? The steadiness, the consistency, the fact that you always know where he is the exact thing that makes a long-term life with him possible and sustainable. Because you're not just choosing a Friday night, ladies. You're choosing who's sitting across the table from you playing Scrabble on a Tuesday 11 years from now. And I think about this a lot with my wife Ashley. The thing I love most about our marriage isn't a dramatic moment, right? It's that I'm not anxious and braced. I'm not like managing anything. There's no weather system in my house I'm having to navigate. And I did not know until I had it how much energy I had spent in my whole adult life and all my past relationships bracing for the next thing. But with Ashley, peace didn't feel boring. It felt like size, putting something down that I've been carrying so long that I forgot it was heavy, but it was slowly crushing me. So, my takeaway for you here is the qualities that feel flat in month 2 are the qualities that decide everything in year 10. So before you write a good man off, ask whether he's boring or whether you've just never been calm before in a long relationship and you don't yet recognize that feeling. So look back over these 7. He regulates instead of escalating. Your body learned love comes with adrenaline. Nobody's performing. Certainty killed the chase. He's building in small things, not big ones. He got quieter when it got serious. And you've been grading a marriage quality guy potentially with dating metrics. And notice what almost none of these are about him, right? Almost all of them are about the measuring stick you're using to evaluate him. Because the truth is that for the most part, the good ones aren't boring. They're just the first men who haven't required you to be on alert. And if you've never had that, it genuinely does feel like nothing at first. That is totally normal. And I've experienced it with many of my clients in my work with them. But the thing is, it isn't nothing. It's the heater. And nobody ever thinks about the heater right up until January. Now, if something in this landed and you want to know how the man in your life is actually experiencing you, I made a free 2-minute quiz that shows women things about their own patterns and intimacy that honestly catch most of them off guard. The link is down in the pinned comment and up at the top of this video. Go take it right after this. It's a little scary how accurate it is. And tell me down in the comments, is there a good man or men that you've passed on? Not one who hurt you. We're not reopening that can of worms. I mean, a kind, available, consistent man that you just felt nothing for. I want to hear about it. I read and respond to every single comment. And before you go, be sure to hit that little subscribe button, and you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to this next video where I'm going to be sharing 10 harsh truths about how men love. It is really going to help you. I promise. So, enjoy that video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye. Alright. Our first truth, and I'm putting it first because all 9 others stand on top of it. A man cannot be your everything. And here's the part that stings. He doesn't even want to be your